Hi, I'm Ems, aka on Dark and Wings, and in this video I want to talk about the 1 million miniatures challenge, which is a recent Warhammer event I took part in. You basically had to go to your local Games Workshop store and make a pledge of how many miniatures you think you could paint between January and May 2026. You were given a score sheet and you were encouraged to take photos of works in progress to keep updating the GW store, or you could just wait and show them all at the end. Then on the 9th of May 2026, an in-store event would take place where they would be tallied up and some prizes would be given. Each store had a rough goal of how many they wanted to get painted to add to the worldwide 1 million miniatures painted. As I said, there were prizes awarded if you painted 25 miniatures, 50 miniatures, and 100 miniatures. And it didn't matter which gaming system that you painted, it could be anything under the Warhammer IP. You didn't have to go out your way to buy new miniatures, so it was a good excuse to paint my backlog. And there was another separate category called the Call to Arms, where you got additional prizes for how many people you introduced new to the Warhammer store. I didn't do the Call to Arms side of things, I just did the 1 million miniatures, and I managed to paint my 100, so I got all 3 prizes, and I got this Purity Seal pin badge for painting 25, and then for painting 50 miniatures, I got this rubber mat. This is supposed to go underneath your water pot, but I think it would be quite cool for dry brushing. I think it's cool that it's a Purity Seal. And then for the 100 miniatures, I got this tin, which you can keep your brushes in. It was actually really nicely made, and it has like a rubber insert. So I was quite proud of myself for getting these miniatures painted, and I'm going to be showing you some of the ones I managed to paint up, as well as chatting a bit more about the in-store event on the 9th of May. So here are some of the miniatures I managed to paint up. And I did quite a lot of Genestealer Cult 40k models. Like I said, it was a good excuse to get stuck into painting my backlog and painting things I haven't painted before, and I had a lot of fun with these. Personally, I think working towards a deadline really does motivate me to get things painted up, and I did have a lot of fun with these. I didn't go too over the top with them, I just had fun doing them in a grim bright style. Then I did some Age of Sigmar miniatures. I don't do a lot of Age of Sigmar, which is a bit of a shame, but this gave me an excuse to get some done. And these came with the Spearhead magazine, so only $2.99, can't complain. And then I did cheat a little bit, and I did some Legion Imperialis stuff, because these obviously counted towards the 100 miniatures I wanted to get painted. I did these in Emperor's Children pre-Heresy colours because they are my favourite Legion in the Heresy era. The reason I ended up painting up the Imperialis stuff is because I wanted to do some Lamenters to display level. And obviously, if you've been following me before, they're my favourite 40k Legion to paint. They just take quite a long time to do. So I did a Lamenter vignette along with a drop pod with some Reavers on it. Obviously, I didn't want to do 100 Lamenters. It would obviously, like I said, take far too long. And these ones, I wanted to try and push myself with my painting. So it was nice to have these as like the main attraction. I went to the store on the 9th of May and we had a little displaying of our miniatures. And we could enter them into like an unofficial painting competition where you could showcase about 10 of the miniatures which you've done. There were a few different categories which people could vote in throughout the day, and here are some of the other miniatures which are on display. And I was really happy that my Lamenters got me the best painted colour scheme category. So there weren't any official awards, but the GW staff gave me a few different leftover bits from different anniversary events. So I got a little medal from a Black Library event. Some pin badges, of course, with the Blood Angels on, since they are the main Legion for Lamenters, and some dice from like a Christmas event. I know that Lamenters are considered unlucky, but I think they're endearing more than anything else. And they have previously won me the Armies on Parade at that same Games Workshop store in October of last year. It was cool that some people at the store recognised my Lamenters from Armies on Parade. And when you took part in the parade, you got this gold-plated medal thing just for even turning up on the day, which was really cool if you showcased an army. And then I took the silver award for Armies on Parade with my Lamenters. I lost out by 1 vote in, typical Lamenter fashion, but that's still awesome for my first Armies on Parade. So overall, I think the 1 million miniatures challenge was a really fun event. Like I said, you didn't have to buy new miniatures for it, and it gives you an excuse to paint up your backlog with a deadline. And the prizes were cool as well. It's a great way to build community, and I would highly recommend trying to check out where your local events are, because I managed to chat with a lot of new people and get their social media handles. Plus, if you're someone who just paints for fun, or you don't really like Golden Demon type events, it's a lot more relaxed. As always, thank you for watching. My social medias will be in the link in the description below. Remember to enjoy your hobbies for yourself, and at the end of the day, they're just war dollies. I will catch you in the next video.